recording on OBS. We are streaming now. All quiet on the set.
It's the Jim Fallon Show. We've come to take your mind.
Am I still on? Sharlene Styles is my guest. We're going to be talking everything health, metabolic diets. I don't know. We'll find out in a minute. Buckle up and welcome aboard.
Hello. Is it my turn to speak?
Okay, you can speak now. My guests always, they trample my damn intro. It's not cool. This is the first link. Here's the second link. This is where you can find her, purenaturalhealth.ca. This is the YouTube channel. All these links are in the show description. This is Sharlene Styles on Instagram. This is Sharlene Styles on TikTok and Facebook. And master your metabolism, emotional eating. Why do you crave certain foods? We're going to hit that. And if you want to book an appointment, that's where you do it, right here. And welcome to my, you know what, Sharlene, listen, I haven't done a Jim Fallon show in a long time unless it's got to do with Dominican real estate or me walking on the beach or whatever. So I appreciate your time. We've been kind of trying to schedule this for a little while, so I appreciate you coming in. How are you feeling, first of all?
I'm feeling great. Thank you very much for having me, and how cool to be like your first guest on the Fallon Show, but it also ties into your DR show because I'm here in the DR.
Yeah.
You on the Jim Fallon Show.
Yeah.
So, full circle.
How are you?
And I'm sorry for trampling on your
it's
on
okay.
Your show.
It
I honestly,
happens all the
I
time.
didn't hear it from my end. It was like complete utter silence.
Oh, really? You didn't hear the music?
Yeah. No, I did not. I was trying to read your sign language.
Oh, okay, cool. So how long you been here, and what made you make the trip to DR? I know you've been in a couple different accommodations, which has been quite the experience for you. So how long you been here? How long you staying, and what made you think about coming down here?
Oh my gosh, all the cues right off the bat. So I've been here since the beginning of January. I'm not exactly, I guess, what's that? Just over a month and a half now, something like that. I was introduced to this area, the north coast of Dominican, many years ago by a fellow student we were doing a meditation teacher training program together, and he told me about like Cabarete and Sosua, as back then, this was, I don't know, I guess maybe more than 12 years ago. Like as a hip upcoming area where a lot of, expats were hanging out, healthy vibe, kind of a hippie vibe. That's the way that he described it. Anyway, I came here, I stayed at the Matra Cabana. Do you know where that is, Jim? It's an eco lodge.
Yeah,
on the North
down
Coast. I'll give
Perla
them a
Marina.
shout out. In Perla Marina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we got it listed for sale, actually.
What?
Yeah, it's for sale.
Matra Cabana?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
it's for sale.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that interesting? So you may know it's a very eco-friendly kind of a place with a cool outdoor yoga shala, and that was my introduction to the area. So this year, when I've been intending to like escape Canadian winters for a long time, even back to my finance days, and I have never pulled the trigger. So there's always been a million reasons why not to pick up and go somewhere else for a few months. And I was actually, I took a road trip. This is a really long, I'm sorry. It's a long story.
Dude, we got all the time you need. More of you, less of me is a good thing. Ask my viewers.
What's that?
Ask all one of my viewer. More of you, less of me is a good thing, yes.
Okay. So I took a road trip out to Florida this year, and I listened to the audiobook by Stephen Pressfield. It's called Put Your Ass Where Your Heart Wants to Be. And that literally inspired me to actually pull the trigger. And, after the height of the last 2 years of what's been happening and feeling like a caged bird, the timing seemed very appropriate. And when determining where to go, like I do have an affinity for tropics and for places that are health inspired, which many of the tropics are, but for some reason, Dominican was what called me here. I can't even explain why. It was just like a no-brainer. I think I wanted to come back and scope out Cabarete. I remember all the cool little shops and restaurants and just the vibe and the beach. And so here I am. And that's where I'm actually staying right now. You mentioned that I've been moving around. Partly because I decided way too late in the season to find an accommodation for a couple of months in a row. And also my brain was trying to keep me safe. And not do the thing and, travel somewhere by myself for a few months. And I'm also traveling with a dog. So that made my quest for accommodations a little bit more challenging. So I've been in Sosua, been up at Casa Linda, I've been down at Ocean Village, and now in Cabarete Beach.
You've hit all the.
So it's been
you hit them all. Perla Marina, Casa Marina, Sosua, Ocean Village. The only place you haven't stayed is Terraza Tropimar. We should get you to buy a little condo in here. They start at 50 G's. And it's kind of like a secret down here. Why I came down here is well documented as far as, a last minute decision just to get out of Canada. It was never my goal to live on a beach or do business out of the country or whatever, but I'm coming up on a year and a half here. But my pastor, Bill at Central Community Church, he came down here with his wife a few weeks ago. He stayed in Punta Cana, which is 4 hours from here. He thought he was going to be able to hang out and watch the football game with me. I'm like, dude, that's 4 hours away. And just before we started men's group this morning at 7:30, every Thursday we got a men's group at 7:30 for anybody that's looking for a place for support and just to talk to men's. It is a Christian men's group, but everyone's welcome. And he was, just before we started today, he's like, Jimmy, I love the Dominican Republic, like the people and the food. And Punta Cana is kind of like Toronto or New York City. It's like major metropolitan, you know what I mean? Yeah. But you still get the flavor for the culture. And I like it on the North Coast because there's small towns. Cabaretti's like a fit little hippie town with all athletes that participate in kite surfing, and Sosua's more, well, to be honest, I mean, it's no secret, it's kind of like sex tourism. The chicas walk the street. It's not like that in Cabarete. And Cabarete is literally 10 minutes down the east to the east of Sosua. And there's all points in between, Encuentro, which you stayed at and whatnot. So I think it's a well-kept secret. I forgot
to mention that.
Yeah, it's a well-kept secret as far as, the culture here, the friendliness. I call it the freest country in the world. So I love it. And, God help us all.
I totally agree. Like every place has its own vibe. And 15 to 20 minutes apart in these little hubs is a totally different feeling. Yeah, Encuentro to Cabarete, totally different vibe.
Yeah, Encuentro.
Well, even though they're both
Encuentro is great. And you're right. It's a totally different vibe. Even from Encuentro to Kite Beach, Cabarete, it's only 5 minutes, car ride. You can walk there literally, and they longboard in the morning in Encuentro, and then they kite surf at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when the winds kick up, because when the winds kick up, the longboarders get off the waves because they're just not as good. And so, yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter where you go. There's a cool little vibe everywhere. But the locals are so sweet. I didn't realize how tired I was of watching my North American. Well, I guess we're still in North America, but on the continent of North America, of people looking at their feet and and kicking their teddy bear down the hall and just not saying hello, not lifting their eyes up, not, you know, and down here, there's, you know, that these men that are standing with their arms around each other, just chatting, some of them are complete strangers and they just love on everyone. It's just such a cool vibe.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and it's hard not to like get immersed into the lifestyle and the pace, and you know, like things just aren't that big of a deal here as they are at home.
Like being on time.
Yeah. Being on time, yeah.
Mañana means tomorrow, but that can mean like a week later until they show up at your door and said, I told you mañana. Well, mañana's tomorrow, weirdo. Like,
well, even I'm sure we're going to get to the meat of why we're having in this conversation, and maybe this is going to be for your Dominican page or feed. But I was delayed a little bit today because I was at Vagabundo doing some work this morning, and it started to rain. And of course, you can't walk back on the beach in the rain, right, carrying a laptop. So I was delayed by that. And I find here, which is really cool, I find a lot of things revolve around the weather, the wind, how the waves are, the tide. I see people dropping what they're doing and just waiting, but like all their plans change because it's the perfect time to go hit the waves and do what they're going to do in the ocean, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure this is a popular saying,
totally
but
different approach.
My broker Clayton Gush always says, if you don't like the weather, just wait 20 minutes because you know a storm can roll in from out of nowhere and then it's gone. You get rained on for 10 minutes and it rains cats and dogs, and then boom, it's sunny and you get a rainbow, and it's so cool. And it is, you know, a little bit. You know, I love the moto conchos that wear the garbage bags during the rain. I just take the wet. I've driven my bike in the rain so many times.
Like pretty heavy. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's get into what you're doing health-wise. This is why we're doing the show. And, you know, I know a little bit about what you do, but the way I kind of introduce my friends that come on the island, and I got to tell you, you know, I just tell people, listen, she gets you a panel of blood work done down here. I think it's a couple $100, and you go look at all the markers. So it's a complete blood panel, and then she puts you on some, I don't know, metabolic diet that's geared to your blood type or your blood work. And everyone everyone I've kind of pitched it to that way, which is, you know, kind of a layman's term pitch, is like, how much? I want that. I want that. Give it to me. So go into detail about what it is you do and why it's successful at getting people right with themselves.
Yeah. I think the big hook is that it's a customized nutrition program based on what's going on the inside, on what's happening on a cellular level. So we do very comprehensive blood testing. I mean, it's a simple blood test that you go in and do, but what we're looking at is very precise in terms of metabolic function. So with that information and obviously your health history and what your goals are, we create a customized nutrition program for each person. So there are some key fundamentals that everybody follows because it's really about balancing your metabolism. So the skeleton of like the how and when to eat, everybody follows, but the what is very precise. So the foods that are selected and recommended for each individual are based on the nutrients that the foods contain. So it's not about a calorie restricted diet. It's not about just, you know, whatever, fasting or keto. It's very specific to the individual to get your metabolism back in balance. So the program was actually founded in Germany by a doctor, as well as a functional nutritionist. They're actually related. And so the program itself has been in existence for over 20 years, and it's in, I don't know, 100 different countries, something like that. But it's very specific to the individual. And what it was really created for was to balance metabolic issues. So things like cardiovascular disease, high triglycerides, diabetes. It was never really intended to be a weight loss program, but what they found really early on is that once your metabolism is balanced, like, oh my gosh, all these people are like dropping weight or coming to their ideal weight, your body just finds its own natural place. So predominantly, most people use this program for metabolic issues, and most predominantly is for weight loss, even though it's far beyond weight loss. I mean, that's just a side effect of what actually happens. So what we do, if people are interested in this, if you want to get a little geeky with me in terms of the science, we're really working on balancing blood sugar and controlling insulin. And as you may know, insulin is like the key conductor for the rest of the hormone cascade. So once we have insulin under control, not only are we training the body not to store fat, we're training it to burn fat. So that's one of the things. But also from that blood sugar regulation, you may know that, when we have dysregulated blood sugar, that can contribute to aging, shortened telomeres, a lot of cellular damage, actually. So really controlling blood sugar is really key. I mean, you can do that on your own. I think what makes this program quite phenomenal is the testing to know what's going on internally. I've been in nutrition for, oh my gosh, I guess it's coming on 13-ish years now.
Okay.
And prior to using a very custom program, I was just doing, kind of generic things where you do some kind of testing, but it's not as specific. So most often the things that are used in holistic nutrition would be sensitivities, like a sensitivity food test. And then basically we're kind of just blanket, proposing the same kind of nutrition program for many people, which is not, first of all, it's not customized, but it's also, it may not be actually appropriate. So the key offenders, what most people may, have been subjected to, is eliminating dairy, eliminating wheat and sugar, and of course maybe alcohol. But so grains and dairy, those are kind of the key things that people take out. However, that may not actually be true for everyone. And just by eliminating those factors, it doesn't really talk about the micronutrients that the body needs. So I don't know if this is boring to you, but
well, you see me looking at my phone. Nobody can see me, so don't blow the whistle on me. I'm making sure all my feeds are good. Yeah, I'm not bored.
Good.
I'm listening.
I'm bored. And I get it. Like, this is not. It's not a topic for everybody, but for those that
I think you're wrong there. There's so many
Yeah.
people that have like these nagging issues. For me, it's sciatic. I get this stupid swelling in my mouth every morning when I wake up, and I'm not like, I'm also not doing all the things I should be, like walking 6 kilometers every morning and, drinking 4 liters of water. So we know what to do. We kind of get pulled by our habits and, our harmful ways of living. But so many people, like everyone's got these nagging issues that they don't have answers to. They go to the doctor gives them some pharmaceutical that they get a kickback for giving. Oh, is that going to get me kicked off Facebook and YouTube? I don't know. But probably. Yeah, I mean, we live in a pill popping society. This is our culture. And, I appreciate what you're doing because it looks at the, you talk about the cellular level. And that's, I spent years talking about cellular development when we talked about essential fatty acids, and that's what, I've been trying to, make that important as far as maybe part of your program, because cold pressed hemp oil, whether or not it has CBD in it or not, because hemp oil is just another vegetable oil, but it's got all the essential fatty acids. Hemp hearts, you could actually live on. It contains all the essential fatty acids to sustain a healthy existence. And, I'd love to try this out. I often fantasize about doing a 30-day hemp heart diet, because they tell me that you'd poo like a rabbit and you wouldn't have to wipe, because it's so, like, the body uses almost all the stuff up, and it's so natural and so healthy for you that it changes everything about your body. But I love the taste of hemp hearts, and I don't want to hate it, and I can't imagine not eating my favorite foods for 30 days. But I'd love to see, the Morgan Spurlock did Super Size Me, where he ate McDonald's for 30 days and his health was decimated. Yeah, so I'd love to see what happened if you ate hemp hearts and nothing but hemp hearts and water for 30 days.
So that's it. You would only eat hemp, nothing else.
Yeah, that would be such a cool little experiment, even if you could do it for 2 weeks, because
or I was just going to say even 7 days.
We'll talk about a cleanse.
So, Jim, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire because that's the way I roll. You know that about me as a coach and a holistic life coach. Like, I am like, let's get her done.
Except you can't import hemp hearts to the country. It's illegal here. Hemp,
you can't?
no. And I mean, maybe that's why
What other island can you go to?
I'm not going to any other islands. I think I just need to
so you can't,
make inroads.
You can't bring in hemp at all?
People are doing it. With private shipping companies and getting away with it, but you can't do it legally.
Yeah,
I want to import 3 drums of it. Hemp hearts, hemp flour, hemp protein, and hemp oil. If I had a drum of each, I'd probably sell the stuff in 90 days because down here people are thirsty for it. You just can't buy hemp oil. But
it's interesting because that's how we met over hemp, and I love that you're still flagging it and passionate about it. So good on you, and I do hope that you find a way to continue that journey for yourself and for others, because I mean, as a nutritionist, this is I was a financial advisor for many years, living a very imbalanced life, and nutrition wasn't taught anywhere. Like, where do you get nutrition advice from, right? Either companies that are trying to sell you something. Our medical system is not trained in nutrition. So where do you really learn the nutrition from? Advertisements, magazines, like it's all skewed. So really where we're getting our information from is from our parents, right? Like predominantly. And then as we grow and age and discover on our own. But it's fascinating that I think more and more of us, particularly as time goes on and we get older, we pay way more attention to our health, which is really cool. And I love that the younger generations are more health focused than I ever was, which is amazing. So I really do, Jim, hope that you continue the quest of the hemp and get the word out there and introduce something so simple for people to really balance out what's going on. I mean, if we look at, you're right, lifestyle factors and all the processed and convenient foods that we have, like the deficiencies that actually contributes to in a lifetime. And this is predominantly what I deal with. I predominantly deal with people in their middle age, mostly women, that have hormone imbalances and metabolic issues. But really, where does that come from, right? It comes from our lifestyle factors. And one of the key lifestyle factors that we have is what we put in our mouth. And we've been kind of, I don't want to say greenwashed, but duped into thinking some really shitty things are, can I say that? I just said it. Okay. Some really yucky things are promoted and prompted as good and healthy. And then what happens is our mind gets, as you said, the habits get us hooked into desiring more, right? Our limbic brain, our primitive brain seeks comfort, pleasure, right? And reward. It doesn't, left to its own devices, that's what it's going to do. It's going to keep you comfortable on the couch and doing all the stuff that's maybe not so.
Yeah, you talk about the indoctrination. You just look at the food pyramid and you know how horrible our recommended diet is. Like, it's just this food pyramid is junk. I think
people are waking up though now, don't you? I really
definitely.
Hope so. And I hope I do. You're right, but that's the way that we were trained. But also, I think just like anything, when you're Googling something, like you got to look at the source, right? Who's giving you the information and what is there to gain by sharing this information? So that's a whole nother topic, I suppose. But
definitely.
Yeah, I think people are waking up to the food pyramid and realizing that it's crap.
So take us through your program a little bit. What's it look like logistically? How much is it going to cut? Oh, running out of time. Oh, see, this is what happens when you don't pay your Zoom bill.
10 minutes. Okay. 10 minutes.
We can switch over because I think we've just kind of broken the surface a little bit, and I want to go deeper into this. So let's see, it's 1:30. Yeah, we'll take about 9 more minutes, and then we'll switch over to room 2, and we'll finish it up. But tell me logistically about what the program looks like. What's the cost involved, and do I need a whole bunch of willpower and discipline to stay on it?
Okay. First of all, I suppose that's probably one of the biggest questions is what does it cost? And I'm going to, before I get there, is just lay the foundation that I'm not
features before benefit. I'm not
cheap.
Okay.
If anybody knows me, I am not cheap. No. So I am whether you're in the United States or in Canada, even in the Dominican Republic, we can make this happen. If you are in Canada, basically you're going to go to a lab and get your, regardless of where you are, you're going to go to a lab. I'm going to send you a requisition. You're going to get your your blood test done. So in Canada, it's super simple. You're going to go in with the requisition form that I send you. In the US, you're going to go to a lab because their system is very different than us. Either way, you're going to end up in a lab. In the Dominican, there's labs here that will also do your blood testing. I don't have any clients in the Dominican, but it is possible because I have people asking me about it. So I first of all wanted to make sure that it was even possible before we talk about it, but it is. So you go to a lab, you get your blood work done. You do not come to my office. You don't need to see me. You go to a lab near you, and regardless of where you're located, we can make this happen in North America and in the Dominican. So from there, I get your blood test results. We do an intake form. I want to know your health history. It's pretty simple to do. And then from there, I can create a custom nutrition program for you. So then we continue to meet by Zoom. And regardless, so in my setup right now, this is how I'm meeting people, is by Zoom, and I coach you through it. So my package includes coaching sessions with me, 6 coaching sessions. That's kind of the ground floor level. One, you're getting used to eating in a different way, and doing anything different is change. So in the beginning, it's going to take some direction and support and guidance. But what I find, and the reason that I extend this to 6 coaching sessions and beyond sometimes, is we get down to the emotional connection of food and the mindset. Because what happens, just as you said, Jim, is our habits and our mind want to take over. So after all of these years being a holistic nutritionist and holistic life coach, I realized, and I've learned a long time ago, that it's never just about the food. We all know right from wrong, what we should be choosing versus not choosing. Mm-hmm. It's the programming that we need to unlearn and relearn, and that takes time. It really does. So many people want to use this program for weight loss. And what I can say, and hopefully I'm very cautious of not overselling the program. Many of my clients, as I said, are mid-aged women with hormonal issues and want to lose weight. And they've been struggling for years to do something, and they have no results. So the eat less and exercise more just doesn't work when you have hormone imbalances. So what I find really early on is there's a 2-day preparatory phase, which is a cleanse. We're just cleaning out the intestinal tract and allowing all of the debris and metabolic waste to be flushed out of the system. Okay. And also by cleaning out the intestinal tract, that allows the body and the intestines to absorb the new nutrients that you're going to be feeding it. Mm-hmm. So 2-day preparatory cleanse. And then for the first 14 days, it's a very important and magical time where I'm ask all of my clients to follow the plan like to a T. Eat the foods that are recommended for you, follow the principles of the program, and basically that's like when and how to eat. Okay. 3 meals a day, 5 hours apart. You're making sure that all the meals are balanced with the protein, fat, and carb. Actually, in the beginning, in the first 14 days, there is no additional dietary fat. Anyway, 14 days is magic because what's happening is your body is getting rid of a lot of metabolic waste and reducing inflammation. So what that does on so many levels is it allows our cells to communicate more clearly. They can send signals back and forth without it being muffled by all the swampy water, which is inflammation and metabolic waste. So there's a lot of magic that happens in the first 2 weeks. Like, it's quite phenomenal, actually. And I don't want to oversell it, but many people use it for weight loss. So what I typically see on average, and this is average because everybody is different, but about a 5% drop in body weight if weight loss is your goal. Some people don't want to lose weight. Some people need to gain weight, actually. Mm-hmm. So we're talking a different type of, system. We're not going to be focusing on weight loss. But for those that do, it's very effective in those first 2 weeks. After those first 2 weeks, the choice is yours. Like, how long do you want to keep your foot on the gas and keep going and reaching towards your goals? Do you want to loosen up the parameters? Do you want to take a little bit more of a scenic route and enjoy life? So when we get into the next phase, it's a relaxed phase where we're introducing new foods, seeing how your body responds. Does it affect your digestion, your sleep, your weight, all of that? And then phase 4 is you now open up the pantry and eat all the foods that you normally would, and still follow the principles of the plan, which is really what you're learning with the program is to balance your blood sugar. So I know it sounds super simple, but it's really balanced meals with a nice gap of time in between your meals. So typically we're looking for about 5 hours in between meals so that the insulin levels can come back to baseline. So that's the whole premise of it. It gets a little bit more specific and detailed for each person because of the what, but that is the foundation. I hope that answers the question.
It does, and it's a perfect time to skip over. So click room 2 link, and what's this? Buy it now. Oh, the Zoom saying buy me now. I'll open up the new room, and we can get into more detail about the price and the logistics and whatnot. And thank you very. You know what Zoom did? Zoom changed my plan without telling me. You were unlimited with 2 people, and now all of a sudden you're 40 minutes with 2 people. And just in case you hear the drums in the background, Independence Day is on the 28th, and they're drumming all over the city. That's why you hear drums and cymbals and the beat. Like it goes 9 to. Well, this is a weed eater. That's not the drums. So
I can't hear it. I seriously can't.
Sounds like a motorbike's in my backyard. All right.
Okay.
Switch over. Click the second link, and we'll continue here.
Okay.
This is where you find Sharlene right here. The links are in the show description. I don't need to convert. And as you can see, my
recording in progress.
My condo, my building is doing the yard maintenance today. Okay, so this is 5-step strategy, purenaturalhealth.ca. This is and again, the show links are, the links are in the show description. There's the Instagram, there's the TikTok, there's the fake book, and then master your metabolism, emotional eating, and schedule an appointment. All those links are in the show description, wherever you're watching it. We're on Twitch. We're on DLive. We're on multiple channels on YouTube. We are on Facebook on multiple accounts. We're on Twitter on multiple accounts. At Buying Dominican, at Buying Dominican Republic on YouTube. So that's all the places that we're broadcasting. Pretty much 6 platforms, 12 or so accounts. And so I guess I'm going to have to pay Zoom some money. So yeah, they changed my plan without telling me. That was a shock. And you know what? Restream did the same thing. I was allowed to broadcast to 10 channels or something. And they're like, no. Now you need to pay us $20 to get the same features that you're getting for free. Not for free.
That's
getting free.
That's how the hook goes. Yeah.
Okay, so
and you know what? It's an amazing surface. That is totally worth the investment.
Except it's Chinese.
Well,
so when you're coming off your fast or your program, and then you quote, as you put it, open up the pantry, are you careful about what you introduce and how quickly, or are you just eating tacos the first night and saying screw it? Because, our mutual friend, Yoga by Sarah, I don't subscribe to these radical extreme diets, but she's a good friend of mine, and I really appreciate her knowledge in a couple areas. And she convinced me to do the maple syrup and cayenne pepper and nothing but water for 10 days.
The master cleanse.
What a nightmare that was, man! But I think
it was.
I lasted
trendy.
7 days, I think.
Yeah, it was trendy. So what I know personally about cleansing, and I know this is a little off-road about it, but really, in order to cleanse properly, you need to have your organs of elimination open so that you can detoxify properly. And if you think about one of the key things that detoxifies our body, I mean, there's many, but is the liver, right? So how do we support these organs as we detoxify? So that's an important question when you are doing, a drastic kind of a cleanse. So Jim, your question was, do you just like go full range? So
yeah, because everyone tells me is once you finish your master cleanse or whatever you call it, then you introduce one food at a time. So, okay, today we're going to introduce eggs, and then you watch to see if you get a headache and watch to see if you have indigestion or stomach cramps or something. And then the next day, maybe you try beef with salt, and very slowly just introduce one food at a time and kind of keep a diary of your body's reaction to it, because, and I've never had this done, but food allergies are prominent, and you can actually get a test for food allergies. I don't know if the blood test or the blood panel gives you the same results, but I've always wondered, I know pistachios, when I eat too many, is going to make me blow up. You know what I mean? There was a time in my life, and you talk about metabolic shift or hormonal shift, I got my T checked last time I had my blood work done, and it's fine. But, maybe it's not now. But, the food allergy thing has always been kind of, your body changes. And I used to be lactose intolerant. And I wasn't my whole life. And then, my favorite drink at Tim Hortons was that iced cap or whatever. Well, they started making me explode. And I remember the first time I sat in front of Tim Hortons with my Lactaid pill and drank my iced cap and waited and waited and waited, and I didn't explode. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm lactose intolerant. Thank you, God. I was just, it took me a while to get to that place.
Tolerant, yeah. And
then after taking these Lactaid pills, and then I went to the generic ones, because the Lactaid pills are like the brand name Lactaid they're pretty expensive. So I started taking generic ones, and then I outgrew it. I don't know if it was the combination of taking the pills or whatever, but they say if you take the pills for long enough, sometimes you just outgrow it. And, I've outgrown some of my allergies. Like down here in Dominican Republic, I almost don't have allergies anymore. I don't know if it's because the air is cleaner or the food I'm eating's cleaner or whatever, but, your body shifts. And,
it sure does.
If I become lactose intolerant again, I won't be surprised. But, things change.
Things do change. So I think there was a lot to unpack of just what you just said there. But if we think about in basic terms, as humans, we should be able to ingest things that, come from the earth without any problem. So what really gums it up, it kind of comes back to, the whole idea of this metabolic issue is inflammation, right? Like when we're eating foods that our body can't actually identify or break down properly, our diet tends to lead to many different excesses and deficiencies. So that kind of gums up our whole process of digestion and elimination. So we should be able to, eat a pineapple or a cucumber or a zucchini without any issues, but it's the inflammation and the inflammatory response that really stops people from being able to digest specific foods. And, when you're talking specifically about milk, Jim, no offense to Tim Hortons, but they're not using whole milk, they're using milk that's full of, from cows that have been fed antibiotics.
Not to mention that iced cap is full of chemicals. There's nothing natural about an iced cap.
No.
Except maybe the cream, and even that's pasteurized and probably, got antibiotics and whatnot in it.
And you think about the amount of sugar in there, what does the sugar do, right? A granular sugar just contributes to inflammation. So it's no wonder that people are having all kinds of responses from what we call sensitivities or allergies. But it's really, it's not the food itself, it's the inflammation that's going on in the body that really needs to be addressed. So once that is, dampened or taken care of, you can reintroduce food. So back to your original question about the program in the sense of, when you come off of this cleanse, what happens. So the first 2 days, I'll just reiterate, that is a preparatory phase to get rid of metabolic waste in that, so that you can actually, your intestinal tract can actually absorb the nutrients that you're going to be getting. So the foods that we're recommending are really your prescription because of the nutrients that they contain. So rather than taking a bunch of different supplements, you get a variety of foods so that your body can get back into harmony naturally by using micro and macronutrients. So after that first 2 weeks of your body's recalibration period, that's really when we're pressing the reset button on your metabolism. After that stage, what we're going to be doing is introducing foods on a gradual basis. What happens though, the more you stay true to the plan and follow the principles of the plan and keep your inflammation down and your metabolic waste down and your blood sugar balance, you start to feel better. You get more energy, your sleep improves, your weight changes, like your brain fog lifts. So people get addicted to feeling good because who doesn't want to feel good? So after you're recalibrated and your metabolism comes back to baseline and you introduce something that is not supportive to you, like shitty oils, just simple as that, like shitty, cheap oils that are used in most restaurants, you feel it. You feel like, oh, you're groggy the next day, you're tired, maybe your eyes are puffy, maybe you didn't sleep well. So that's what hooks people to keep going with the plan. So as we work together, and this is why I think it's really important to have the support of a coach rather than just try to figure this out on your own. And I think this is why it's so effective. What we're going to do is introduce foods on a gradual basis. So it's not like, we call them treat meals in the beginning, where you're going to have something that's not on your recommended list to see how it feels. And also because, let's be real, we're humans. Like sometimes you're just eating for mere pleasure and not for health, right? Like there are those situations. Many people that use this type of program are looking to rectify something, whether it's weight or a metabolic issue. So there is some motivation for people to keep going. So it's not like, you eat really strictly for a period of time and then you let go of the wheel and just do whatever. That's not how it goes. You introduce gradually and you learn how, I can still live life and have, whatever, burgers and french fries and tacos and tequila when I want, but we will work together so I can show you how to do it in ways that best supports your metabolism and has the least impact on your inflammation and your metabolic weight.
You know what I think the greatest part about this program is, and I know you're naturally a coach and a leader in this department, and we talked about me on Super Bowl Sunday, right? I'm like, you know what? My cousin's in town. We got a restaurant booked. It's a private party. And now I've got the restaurant listed. It's a good little business for $50K. And the ROI on it's like 2 years. Like she's got a great margin. And I said, I'm going to be with my cousin, by halftime, I'm going to have 6 beers in me. And tomorrow I'll be a mess. And you're like, well, what would it look like for you to win today? Well, I said, an appointment tomorrow would keep me relatively sober and keep me accountable. And just that conversation, and I think, maybe I'm a little special because, we're friends and we have a relationship, but I think this is what you do naturally. So I think you found your calling. You're in the perfect business for it, but this accountability is really key, is staying accountable and being able to report to someone tomorrow, I did good, or I fell down. And whether or not you need to kick us in the ass or rub our ears, which is what my mother used to do as a manager of 150 real estate agents. She had a feel for it. She knew when you needed to be booted around, and then she knew when you needed some love. So the accountability, I think, is really key, and that's what's missing from so many of us, because we make all these deals with ourselves and then no one knows that we made the deal. So it's easy to break a deal that we made with ourselves. But when we say to someone else, it's just like being on time. If I tell you I'll be there at 2 o'clock, I'm there at 10:02 just to make sure my word is held up. But for me, if I'm going to work out every morning at 2 or 6 in the morning, I'm like, no one's going to know. I'll just blow it. So the accountability is a key, key factor.
I'll meet you there tomorrow, and I'll keep you accountable.
Okay.
I totally agree, Jim. And like I was saying before, having a plan of what to eat is not really the issue. I mean, there's real, honestly, supreme magic in knowing the foods that are most supportive to you. But that's one issue. It's unraveling the mindset that gets us tripped up into the patterns and the habituated state of, having date nights on Friday nights with your partner where you always drink tequila. Like how do we navigate those things in life?
Right.
And really that's, you know, as a holistic life coach, that's what we're dealing with. Yeah, food is one piece of it, but there's so much more. So that's why I include 6 coaching sessions with my program. That at least gets us to scratch the surface. There is the next level for those that want to continue and do more lifestyle and life coaching. But the 6 is kind of the baseline to get started, get the food down, and then tap into the habituated patterns, because that's really where the work is in our thoughts. Because as you know, our thoughts create how we feel. That feeling prompts us to take an action, and that action, when done repetitively, gives us our results. So really, you know, oftentimes when people are trying to change their eating habits, they're just trying to change the action without changing their mind. And this is really what we need to be working on, is the mindset. So that's what we get into with the coaching. And to answer your question about, you know, what's involved, I really do try to set my clients up with everything that they possibly need for success. So one of them is accountability and support through the coaching. So hence the 6 coaching sessions, and of course the customized meal plan. So I think just that on itself is like mind blowing. But I also, I give access to a resource library for questions, and just where people have resources to go to without them feeling like they have to bug me, even though they get a year access to me through a private messaging app. Like it's, you know, a coach on pocket dial kind of thing. When you need some help or you need an answer, that's what they have access to me for. So as you can see, I think there's a lot of value just in having the support, but I also give some tangible things to my clients so that they're set up for success in terms of, you know, some key things that they're going to need. Like I send clients a digital food scale and a body composition scale, because I like to see what's going on internally, not just with body weight, and a product to do some cleansing, which when we clean out the intestinal tract, that there's one product you take, it's like, you know, human Drano, flushes things out really effectively.
And you know what? Your system works really well. I signed up yesterday, and I followed all your social media accounts, and I got an introductory email. And then today I got an email from you saying, this is why you're so exhausted. I'm like, I haven't read it yet, but I'm like, oh, I can't wait to read this one. And, you know, you talked about setting a new bar and being addicted to feeling good. And, you know, I think especially as men, we have a habit of like aiming down, like self-sabotage. I don't care. I have more fun drinking, and I'll pay the price tomorrow. But I remember doing hot yoga at, is it Moto or Moksha? Moksha, yeah.
Or Moto, yeah.
Yeah, it was Moto, and then it was
yeah.
Moksha after. And they're at the Glen Ridge Plaza. And, you know, I did a session with Yoga by Sarah when she was on Queenston Street. But, you know, you could see the cars driving by. It was always loud. And this place was dark and 102 degrees. And I couldn't get through the whole session because I was exhausted halfway through and soaked. And they were really, really graceful or gracious about saying, you know what, if you get tired, just sit on your mat. Don't leave the room. But when I left that room, I had this new awareness, even in the parking lot, walking to my car, is I don't want to drink. I don't want to eat McDonald's on the way. Not that I ever. I don't want to eat garbage food. And it changed my mindset so much that I remember being at the boat and a buddy of mine going, oh, you know, here, have a beer with me. I'm like, no, I'm going to yoga. Well, you can have a beer. It's not going to be drunk at yoga. But I don't want to be burping beer I don't want it coming back on me when I'm in the yoga class. And it changed everything. And the same guy, he sent me home with meatballs. They're homemade meatballs. And he's like, now don't eat them all before you get home. And I'm like, dude, I don't even want to be digesting in that room. So I planned my schedule around 1 hour yoga class so that I could enjoy it. And my body wasn't working on other things like digesting or being carbonated or having beer or alcohol on me or whatever. And then when I walked out, I'm like, all these bad habits that I had were like, you know, eventually I went back to them anyways, but there was this moment in time where I'd set a new bar.
I love how you just skim over that.
Yeah.
I just went back to them. Yeah. Okay. Well.
And, you know, because it's hard. Breaking old habits is difficult. But, you know, I remember walking out to my car several times going, no, I'm not, I don't that's not me right now. I just finished an hour of working out in 102 degrees and humidity, and it shifted for me. So yeah, setting a new bar and getting addicted to feeling good is something that many of us don't experience because we're just stuck in our own ways, and we're stuck feeling, our bar is, oh, I feel I got a headache today. Oh, big deal,
And hey, I just want to say this, like, not only for your benefit, but maybe for the benefit of anyone that's watching this. Does anybody actually watch this stuff?
No, nobody does.
Okay.
It's okay. We just
okay. So for
stay
your
at
benefit,
it, Jimmy. Stay at it.
I just want to say, like, the primitive brain, the part of our brain that is not evolved, desires comfort and pleasure, and left to its own devices, that's what it's going to be seeking. So that is the part to override by using the prefrontal cortex. So there's a lot of neurobiology that's wrapped into this, and I think I see this quite often. People beat themselves up.
Stop that.
Is she putting on a show? Oh, yes, she is. Karma.
She had an itchy ear earlier. Now she's got something else that's itching her. Oh, somebody just walked by you too. Oh, okay. We're going to have to cut the show.
Here we go.
Oh, there's your guard dog.
Get him, Karma. Get her.
She's supposed to
Get
be
her,
a
Karma.
first dog. She thinks she's a guard dog. I just want to say that, I see this often in people where they think they lack motivation, but it's not the motivation. It's really what it is consistency, right? Like, motivation wanes, like it ebbs and flows all the time. So if you're relying on motivation to do something, it's never going to be the right time. You're never going to find the motivation to do it. I mean, you may for a very short period of time, but really it's about parenting your using the evolved part of your brain to parent the unevolved limbic part of your brain. As I call it, the little toddler, like, get in the back seat, stop your whining, we're going. And really coaching your own self to get to the desired outcome that you really want, which really takes consistency and not motivation. So it sounds to me, though, like maybe yoga is something to consider for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I really enjoyed it, and there was a warrior pose. I mean, man, when I'm in warrior pose, there's something, I don't know if that's a masculine pose or something, but dude, I felt lit up when I was in that pose, and I know you
it
probably
totally
do.
is.
Yeah,
it totally is. Like that is the power pose of yoga. Warrior. Yeah. Conquering, victory, warrior. Power pose.
Yeah. So I got to get back to that, and I've got a good source for it. And I didn't think they had. Well, my excuse was like, I got to go to work. Like, I need a place to shower. And then she told me the other day, we've got a shower. I'm like, oh damn.
Where is it? Should I know?
The Body Temple in Cabarete. It's at Ocean One.
Oh.
My plaza is Ocean Dream Plaza. Right beside it is Ocean One, and Michael puts you through these resistance stretches. So as he moves you, you resist, and he pulls and pushes, and they put a bowl on me and did that. It's really really hippie like, but and he's not cheap. The first session was $150 American, I think. He said it was an hour and a half, but he spent 2.5 hours with me. And then the follow-up session is supposed to be an hour, $100 for the hour. And again, I went back the second time with $100, and I'm like, dude, I only bought $100. He spent 2 hours with me, and he's just such a what do you call a mentor? Those. He's got all kinds of guru. Exactly. Yeah. He's got many different disciplines that he puts into this, but this resistance stretching, and he was hanging me, and then my hips are like this, my shoulders are like this, my sciatic's out. I think maybe I got a herniated disc or something like that because I'm in so much pain. He took a picture of me before, and then after he worked me through all these stretches, and he had me hanging from a bar, to kind of, pull me straight, and he just moved me all kinds of different ways. And then he said he took another picture at the end, and he sent me before and after pictures after I left the workout, and it was stark, the difference.
Cool.
of him
That's
just
amazing.
working on me.
Love
So
that.
Body Temple, can't recommend him enough. He's worth every penny. You guys probably, that'd be a great introduction for you because he's gifted. And you know what? You get people, you literally get people. And these people that are trained to coach, that's all they do is because they love people. They want to help. You know what I mean? I think as many of us that have that, and it manifests in different ways. For me right now, it's getting people out of Canada. Invest in you can buy a little $50,000 condo in my building with the fees are like $70 a month. Like, if you've got a little equity, come to DR, and that lights me up. I had a guy from church saying, Jimmy, I've been watching your videos. I think I should buy a place down there, and suddenly I'm filled with, this is my possibility. This is how I help people to escape and put their money somewhere safe where they can have a little bit of income. And in a declining real estate market in Canada, here it's just going through the roof. So,
and I think too, for people that aren't quite ready to move, that having a place to come and stay at it's a very supportive, natural environment. I just ran into someone today that I met a few weeks ago, and their family here is super sweet. They just sold their place in Toronto, and they're going home to pack it up and then come back.
Nice. You know what's great about this?
I think we're in the vicinity where these stories happen, right? Because there's a lot of magic that happens.
And we all
here,
say it's such a small world, but it's a smaller island, and the North Coast is even smaller. Yeah. And you know what? Right. It doesn't take you long. I was only here a few weeks, and you probably noticed this already. You're bumping into people that you know now from the island, and they're like, hey, how are you? I'm like,
I know, it's so funny.
I got recognized on the beach the other day from my Dominican YouTube channel. Like, back home, I would get recognized a lot because I was politically active, and I was a candidate, and I had a radio show, and then broadcasting and all that kind of stuff. So it was, it wasn't out of the ordinary for people to say, oh, you're Jim Fannin? Oh, I've seen your stuff. But, I was down at... I can't remember the name of the bar now. It's escaping me. But I went down to meet a client there the other day and meet the owner. Malibu's, yeah. And he's got a YouTube channel called Whiskey and Rum, and he's got a feed of the beach. So he's got a camera that points down the beach. It's not even pointed at the water. He says, when I point my camera at the water, when you can see the waves coming in, people are like, no, point it down the beach, because they want to see the people walking by. Like, when I was sitting there, he had 32 people on his YouTube channel just watching people walk by the camera on the beach. It's amazing. But yeah, DB gets up and he says, I'm DB, I'm Jim Fannin. He goes, oh, I've seen your channel. Nice work. You do a really good job. I'm like, seriously? you know, and he was from New York. So, but he's been here enough.
That's cool.
And watching, and my YouTube channel is actually, Buying Dominican Republic is doing pretty well. I'm I don't know, well over 1,500 subs now, and it's only about a year old. So, but there's no politics on it. This is on it, talking about DR and walks on the beach and property tours and stuff like that. But it's a small town down here, and it's so cool when you start seeing even locals. Like, I was in Cabarete. I took a picture of this kid holding my card. Him and his little brother were just the cutest kids, like just so, me and kids, right? Well, 2 months later, I see him in Sosua. I didn't recognize him. I was sitting at the empanada place, Rosie's Empanadas, and this kid walks up and he says, hey, my brother, like this. He doesn't speak very, very good English. And I go, you know me? He goes, yeah. He goes like this. Cabarete. He's like eating. He was eating where I saw him. And I'm like, dude, he recognized me. So it's a small town. It's so cool when you meet locals and they're like, they recognize you from 2 towns over.
Absolutely. And you know what? Good vibes ripple out, right? So keep sharing the good vibes, man.
All right, so we'll just skip by the rest of it because it's probably not fair. I want people to call you and find out what you get. Features first, feature benefit first, cost later. So how do people get
Absolutely.
The links are in the show description, but what's the best way to get a hold of you and book?
Yeah, if if someone was actually like really contemplating doing something like this, or has a very specific need or something they want to address, I would invite them to schedule a call. I offer a 30-minute complimentary call so we can dive deeper into their own situation, and I can kind of assess from there if I'm able to help or maybe point them in the direction that would be most suitable for them. So it's a little bit of a deep dive in 30 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. So here's the website. It's purenaturalhealth.ca. All the links are in the show description. Who's this model, man? And the 5-step strategy. Hi, my name's Jim Fannin. Here's the YouTube channel. Here she is on Instagram, TikTok, and let's book an appointment to get your YouTube channel tweaked.
I would love that. Thank you.
I'm on my 8th channel, and this is the 3rd time I've qualified to monetize. I need about 100 more watch hours, so I should have that within a couple weeks now. But my first channel was paying me $1,500 a month, and
that's awesome.
I got axed for putting coronavirus in one of my titles. They just took the whole channel instead of giving me a warning or giving me a strike or something like that. So.
And now you just said it here, so.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the link, Tim, I'm happy to send you the link for people to book a call if they wanted to talk more specifically and directly to me. I'm happy to do that.
No, all the links are in the show description, and you can share it out afterwards when you get home, and or when you are home. I mean, when you get off of the Zoom call, as far as sharing out the content, and I will upload it a separate copy later. And I can't wait to find out. This is why you're so exhausted. So yeah, your system's working good. I went and followed you everywhere. I signed up for your newsletter, and about not even 20 minutes later, I got, hi, Jim. I thought you were sending me your links for the show today, and you're like, I'm going to keep it short. I'm like, oh, this is my introductory to the newsletter. I thought I'm going to keep it short today on our interview. I'm like, keep it short. Well, we got an hour and a half. It's no problem.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for having me and inviting me, and it's good to see you in 2D.
Yeah, I'm sure that when we're done and you watch back, you'll go, oh, I didn't even talk about so-and-so. So maybe we should book interview number 2 and get you back on the show. And I've got an open house I got to get to in 40 minutes. So I appreciate your time as well.
Yes, you do.
I got to head down to Casa Linda.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a specific topic you want to, your viewers want me to address, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. We'll give it some thought, and I would have had you in live, but I moved to my studio away from the office back to the house, so it's just not. I don't have the space here to set up 2 microphones.
Did you hear the dog barking? Can you hear my dog barking?
Yeah, everything's fine. There's nothing even if you fell off your chair, it's just good radio, good TV.
All right, real life.
All right.
Real life happening. Right
I love you, kid. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. I love you back. Okay,
catch
ciao.
up soon. Ciao.
Bye. Or hasta luego.
Hasta la vista, baby. All right, peace.
Recording.
That's how you do that. You just cut her hard. Cut it off hard. This is it. Sharlene Styles. Hi, my name's Jim. That's not Sharlene Styles. These are the links. They're in the show description below. Follow her on Instagram over here. My mouse is giving me a hard time. Follow her on TikTok over here. Follow her page on Facebook over here. And master your this is not the right shot, dude. I'm cropped. 3 keys to master your metabolism over here. Why do I crave certain foods over here? And schedule an appointment over here. Peace, love, hug your neighbor, and call Sharlene Styles. I'm out.